Okay, so Rhiannon's waiting in the room. So now the screen, just want to make sure it's full. Let's go over here. Let's go down here. Rhiannon's waiting in the Zoom room. So it says I'm online. It's showing my whole screen. Okay, cool. So now let me go to Zoom meetings. So now what we're doing is I'm opening the Zoom meeting. I'm joining with computer audio. Wow, that looks really big for some reason. Maybe I need to back off a little bit, but I'm waiting for Rhiannon to join. And then I will enter full screen. And then when she joins, I'm going to turn it over to her and let her, oh, look here. Isn't it? 7:01. 7:01. I count that on time. I hope you do. Oh, you look beautiful. This is so wonderful. I'm so glad to meet you like this. Um, we are simulcasting to a number of different platforms, and what it's doing is it's simulcasting what's ever on my screen. So right now my full screen is being simulcast to um, my Twitter account, to my personal Facebook account, to my YouTube channel, and Twitch. And I want you to know that all of this, whatever we record tonight, whatever you want to use, it will be on Twitch. And the quality, as I understand, is pretty good for you to download and use it however you would like to use it. So this isn't going to be some slick presentation or, some slick simulcast. This is all I've been saying lately that I feel like my whole life is B-roll right now. So what I would like you to do, I'm going to go ahead and I want to make you host so we can. Oh no, I better not do that because I need to share the thing. I just want to, let's see, pin video. There we go. So now, please tell me, start with your name and what your passion is and who you work for and what you hope to accomplish and anything that you would like to share. You've got the stage.
Oh boy. All right. So I'm Ree Johns. I'm currently the marketing and communications manager at Beyond Monumental. And that's the organization that organizes the CNO Financial Indianapolis Monumental Marathon, which is one of the 15 largest marathons in the United States. Takes place every November. It's a 20,000 person event. So that's a lot of fun. I came to that job with a background in math. So I entered it with no marketing experience at all, other than I knew the audience because I was a runner and I ran in college. So no background, no marketing experience at all, but I've been at that job for 6 years and it's been a fun learning experience. There is some math and marketing and communications if you really look into it. And then, so that's my greatest passion right now is that job. And I'm Canadian, so I'm happily living in the United States for 12 years now, but feels a little weird with the border being closed at the moment, but it's that's 2020. So
yeah, 2020 has not been very much fun. for those of you that might be joining Wisdom Wednesdays for the first time, I was going to have the 9th Social Media Dames Unconference at Launch Fishers on Friday, March the 13th, and on March the 12th at 5:01 or 5:20, sometime around in there, I got the call that the governor had put the kibosh on things. And since then, I've been trying to give the storytellers who had been prepared to give their 5-minute story, I wanted to give them an opportunity to go ahead and share that material and use the content, the digital content, in any way that can benefit them or benefit their mission or help them make connections or show folks what you can do, or maybe even interview as a talking head. However you would like to use this content, it's totally yours. And I will be sharing my screen. So I can pull up your, oh no, I don't want to minimize. I'm going to, okay, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to share my screen, and then I will pull up my, let me unpin you though. I think I've got you pinned. Unpin video. I'm going to share screen. Isn't this exciting?
I was looking at these slides today. It felt like I made them 5 years ago.
I know. So much has happened. It's just crazy. So here we go. This is what I want. Nope, this is what I want. I know this is so exciting. Here we go. So I am going to put this in present mode. And is this the, yeah, let me go back to the number 1. Here's Rhiannon Johns. I made everyone fuzzy and brought your photo out. So just let me know when you want me to move the slide deck forward, and it's all yours. Take it away.
Well, you can go to the first slide. There we go. So my job is to make people run marathons, which is, a lot of people do that for the sense of accomplishment, the fact that they can run 26.2 miles, but a lot of people do it for the medal and the shirt that they get when they sign up. So we use that as a call to action every year, do a bit of a discount with it. And this is what happened last time we did this, which would have been last August. So part of that is, of course, social media campaign, but a big email marketing campaign as well that goes to our entire list. So if you want to go to the next slide, actually, yeah. So set that email up. I think we get pretty good traction with those in evenings. Sent that out on a Tuesday evening. Saw it hit my inbox. I'm like, okay, good to go. I'm going to go cook dinner. But 5 minutes later, I get a ping on my phone. There's a notification to the page, and it's a message, and all it is the crying face with laughter emoji. I'm like, it's a little weird. Okay, and I just go back to cooking dinner, and then 30 seconds later, another one comes in, and then another one's in, and then someone's message on the page. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I go and I look, and one of them is a screenshot, and it's like, best typo ever, ha 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 ha. So what are they talking about? And I go and I look in the email. I'm like, okay. subject line's okay, all right, the title's okay, and then I start to read the body copy. And I look in there, and it's like about halfway down, you almost couldn't notice it, but it goes to describe the shirts, and it goes, red, half marathon shirts are red, full marathon shits are blue.
Oh my gosh.
And I just crumbled. I wanted to delete the internet. So my thought process goes, okay, can I go track all these down and delete them before anyone sees them? And like, no, this went to the board. This went to your boss. This went to every single sponsor you have. 5 minutes of sheer panic, not knowing what to do. Minute 5, I'm like, okay, I have to tell my boss. Thankfully, we have a proofing system where I wasn't the only one who saw this email. So this mistake got through multiple levels, but it still got out, and it was ultimately on me. So I text my boss, I'm like, here's what happened. It's like, okay, let's just, our first reaction was to like, well, maybe by tomorrow the internet will forget. The internet never forgets. So as my bullet point says there, innocent, unfortunate mistakes can lead to social media pitchforks, which this did. People were laughing at us. It was as viral as we've gone, I think, in a very negative way. So I woke up the next morning, and the internet hadn't forgotten, as you would expect. And so I go, okay, well, we can ignore this and just have people continue to laugh at us, or we can just lean into it and own it. And like, I came up with an idea. I'm like, I sent it to my boss. I'm like, is this what we can do? He's like, okay, see if it works. So if you go to the next slide, I'll show you what we determined to do. So this went up on our Instagram story and our Instagram page, and it's these 3 slides. It's like, it goes, you may have noticed a typo in our email yesterday. And we have the blue poop emoji over our curse word in our email there. And then we go, a few things happened. Many people laughed, which they did. Our marketing manager cried a little, which I did. And then we finally said, we made sure we are not serving blue Gatorade on the marathon course. And then, of course, we follow that up with, we apologize if anyone's offended. Everything after that will be 100% about shirts. And then we just reiterated our discount and our call to action. And then next slide. And that post turned into our best performing post of the year. Best organic performing post, I should say. And then you can see just some of the comments. You handled this beautifully. Bravo, PR team. Honesty, humility, it's great. The hashtag shirt happens started happening in the comments. You can see another marathon commented in solidarity. And finally, the ultimate comment there is, I didn't notice until I saw this post, but now I kind of want to sign up, which is our whole goal. So that was great. So really just go to the next slide. We had the greatest takeaways from that story are that your social media brand identity does not have to be flawless. Trying to hide or deny your mistakes can make viral moments start to spiral out of control. The internet never forgets. I just said that. And finally, reminding your audience that your brand is actually made up of people behind that brand invites people to laugh with you and not at you, which is, people recognize that humanity. It's really easy to forget when you're dealing with brands that they're not just some giant corporate entity, but there are people writing those things. There are people behind every company. So that allowing that humanity into your brand allows people to relate to it. I'm like, oh, I've made a typo before. And yeah, the final point there is spell check isn't flawless. So be careful with your copy. Is that under 5 minutes?
Oh, I am so bad with timing. Ask anybody. I always tell Aaron Albert that time is a man-made concept, and I shouldn't be held to something that is not really existing in reality, but we won't get into that. I love this so much because too often brands are afraid that when they make a mistake that they...
You're breaking up. Can you say that again?
Oh, I said, I think it's so brilliant that you were able to just own it, because the internet doesn't forget, I'm sure somebody had grabbed a screen share before you were able to pull it off completely. And one thing that the internet um, it just abhors is someone who tries to cover up something. It's like a magnet for all of the trolls.
Yeah,
Um, so a little bit about
absolutely.
tell me a little bit about this upcoming year. How you said November, what's the date and what plans are being made and how is this all working out in the midst of a pandemic?
Right. So, I mean, being in events is hard this year for sure. Our scheduled date is November 7th. Um, and we are lucky that right now we're at a point where we don't have to make the decision yet. So we're still in a bit of a holding pattern. Um, we're of course in close contact with city officials, government officials, health officials, because our priority is to have an event, if we're going to have an in-person event, to have it safely. We have already opened up a virtual option, which is when a lot of other races have done that so far. You run the race on your own. We send you your medal and your kit. So that's already available to everyone. We've also, trying to be the best stewards of our consumers, we've introduced a risk-free registration where if you sign up now and we do have to cancel, you'll be given the option to switch to virtual, defer your registration to next year, or you could actually ask for a refund as well.
That's great. And have you had many inquiries? Are you open for signups yet? Or tell me a little bit.
Yes, yeah, we are.
So how, if I,
Yeah,
which
we're
I
open.
never will, but my daughter runs half marathons, but that's not something I'll ever do. But I appreciate folks that can do it. And how can they sign up? Is there a website or is it easier to get you through Twitter or
Oh, we're super accessible. We're at Indy Monumental. Monumentalmarathon.com is our website.
and who manages your social media?
Oh, that's me.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Do you have a YouTube
Yeah.
channel?
We do. We have some videos on there. It's not one of our main online presences, but we do have one. It's also at Indy Monumental.
Well, I'm always trying to give the best advice whenever I encounter anyone. It's annoying to some people, but so please forgive me. But YouTube is really so important right now in so many different ways. And you don't have to create all the content yourself. If there are other marathons, if you share their content, that's almost as good. Um, and so I can't recommend that enough. And I'll tell you, Periscope is
Okay.
really, I encourage you to check out Periscope. It's the live tool for Twitter, and it uses a very small amount of bandwidth. So you're able to
Oh,
do a live stream without having these fits and starts that typically are the
right.
result of a bandwidth issue. Um, I'm I am so thankful that you were able to do this. I don't know if we're rescheduling a live person event. I was
Right.
thinking about August 2nd, but I have no idea. I have no idea is my problem. Um,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I think that's a problem for a lot of us.
so what would your comfort level be? How are you navigating the pandemic right now?
Oh, you're frozen and I can't quite hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. How are you
Oh, it's
handling?
okay. Just
Oh, it just showed that my internet is unstable.
there we
How are you personally handling the pandemic? Have you been sheltering in place? Are you going nuts? Are you working from home? Have
Yeah.
what digital platforms are you using to stay connected? I'm a geek that way, so I'm always interested.
Well, so I'm working from home and every day is the same. Um, my husband is also working from home. So we're bored and our dogs are having their best year ever. But yeah, just a lot of Zoom, a lot of FaceTime with my family in Canada that I can't go visit right now, which I'd like to do. That's the main way we're staying connected. But yeah, I mean, I can't complain. We're very fortunate to both still have our jobs and be working from home. And if my only complaint is boredom, that's really not too bad.
Yeah, I've been quarantined, or I've been here by myself, and it's been I'm very cranky every now and
Yeah.
then about it, but
Yeah.
but then again, I'm doing fine. I'm able to do a simulcast using many
Yeah.
different platforms, so I'm not like in the midst of being disconnected from everything. I'm
Right.
very connected on some level. Well, I want to give you a chance to let you pitch yourself or pitch the marathon and let us know how to connect with you. And I will keep you posted if we have a real live event, because I'd still love for you to come because it's so much fun. Although I will say that the Young Conferences have always been um, a favorite of mine because I can hug everybody, and that's not going to happen this year. I don't think
Yeah.
we're even going to shake hands ever again, but I
No,
won't get into
exactly.
that. But go
No.
ahead and let us know how people can reach out to you and learn more about the marathon and how they can sign up.
Yeah, so the Monumental Marathon, like I said, is one of the 15th largest marathons in the country, right in Indianapolis. It's a great time. That's at monumentalmarathon.com. Whether or not there is an in-person event this year, we're still planning like there will be. Make that determination at a later date. And of course, there's always 2021, which is, gives you a bit longer time to train. Um, those accounts are at Indy Monumental on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And then for me personally, I'm just at Rejohns, RHIJOHNS on Instagram is probably my preferred personal channel because I get to put up more pictures of my dogs. But or yeah, email's good too if anyone wants to reach out. I'm always happy to chat about social media, marketing, any of those things. And that's just rejohns@gmail.com.
Well, I have to admit something. You had asked me to um, touch on a couple of points that I totally forgot, but luckily we're let's see. Okay, so let's go back here. I'll go back to Zoom. Okay, so Rhiannon, how has the importance of having a human element in your online brand presence changed in 2020?
I think that has gotten a lot more important, to be completely honest. Like before, you could hide behind a brand identity and be kind of some omnipresent, all knowing, not much of a personality company that had all the answers, very straightforward. But now I think, especially with everyone kind of sheltering at home and going through the protests, they realize that there are people behind every brand and they want to know what you value. They want to know what you stand for. And I think just being open with that is one of the best things you can do because people are more forgiving if they realize they're talking to a human being, they're more understanding. And it gives you a whole new opportunity to actually make a statement on what your brand believes. And I think just reminding people that it's a company, but it's also a company made up of people. And that'll go a long way with your consumers.
Well, I'm reminded of the Norman Vincent Peale quote, people buy from people. And that's just the truth. And Luckily, we're at a time where people can buy from people and still be socially distant, which
Right.
has been a challenge. Okay, here, I'll now wait until I switch over for you to answer. Okay. With all the uncertainty that comes with 2020, how do you respond to questions you don't? Oh, this is a great, I
Yeah.
really, when I read this, let me read it again because it's a great question. With all the uncertainty that comes with 2020, how do you respond to questions you don't have answers for? That is a fabulous question.
Especially with working in events, right? Because you might not have an answer. And I think the most important thing there is that you can say you don't know, but you can't not say anything. If you say you don't know and you're open and honest and clear, then people understand. If you're just silent, people get angry and confused and anxious about what's going to happen. But if you can be like, hey, we don't know right now, but we're going to give you another update, and then tell them when, and then follow up on that. And that gives people, at least they know what's coming. It's the silence that breeds that anxiety and that anger with your brand and just gets people commenting and questioning, and people who don't have the answers because they're not even in your company trying to answer people. So just be open and honest and clear, and just set realistic expectations of when you will have those answers.
Do you ever connect with influencers to help get a message across? A
We do.
cohesive, truthful message?
And the marathon has an ambassador team that we recruit every year,
Okay,
organic messaging purposes.
okay, that's great. Um, have you ever used Twitter lists?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, good. I just love it when I recommend things and people say they've used it because too often they're like, what? What are you talking about? So, well, I'll give you the last word and then I'll sign off for the evening. So, take it away.
Oh, well, just thank you so much. This was fun. It was good to actually meet you kind of in person, this is in person for 2020. I'm calling it in person. Um, and yeah, this was great. I'm happy to do this, and it's really good to just be able to talk to people.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, if you want this content, it'll be on Twitch on one of those links that I posted. And I'm so thankful that you spent time with us this evening. And there's still a little bit of daylight out, so go enjoy it.
I will. All right. Thank you so much.
All righty, bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we're still simulcasting. So I have to go one by one to shut things down. I'm going to just turn that off. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to open Broadcast Studio. And I'm going to hit stop streaming. Still haven't found out where the word demo video, where that title is coming from, but I'm still, I'm a masterpiece in progress.